and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Amogbe in Lagos.
It's always a delight to have you join us to talk sports in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan.
All right, Austin, is going to be a fantastic show today, obviously. The Flamingos, of course, they did not disappoint. I talked about, when you have hope on the ladies, they don't disappoint usually. There's always this, they know how to give you joy. So we're going to be talking about Flamingos tonight because they are through to the semi-finals. That's for the first time in the history of the competition, they are in the semi-finals. And what a way to actually beat a team like USA to be able to do that. And not just that, we'll also be talking about the IMC. I need to know that IMC, the interim management committee that have been inaugurated by the NFF president, Ibrahim Gusso, in Abuja today. We'll be talking about them because they said already, yes, the league will have to be on TV once it starts. We can't wait for that to happen. And also, we'll countdown to the FIFA World Cup. We're still talking about that. Group H is going to get our attention today. And also, draws for the FIFA Women's World Cup that will be taking place in New Zealand and Australia. We'll talk about that because the build-up, New Zealand and Australia, they are really hyped up, building up to that very spectacular event that will be taking place next year. There's so much to talk about on the show today, Austin. So much to talk about.
So much, so much. I'm particularly super excited, with what the Flamingos did today at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Record-breaking performance. We knew it was going to be difficult. At some point, it was nervy, but they showed good character. And when it got to the luxury of penalties, I was like, if they've come this far, they can actually go all the way,
Yeah.
And today football said, look, it's going to happen for Nigeria. So they've qualified for the semi-finals for the first time. Cecilia, should we start believing?
Yeah, we should start believing because, semi-finals, what are the teams that are in the semi-finals? Colombia and Tanzania. If we can take out the USA, who knows how to score goals very well, of course, we can still take out any of them. But in the finals, whatever team we are missing in the final, we will be ready for that team. The good thing is the countries like Spain and Japan will cancel each other out, so one will have to still be there. Brazil and Germany, of course, we'll have to check what happened in that game. But then there's so much to talk about on the show. But we're not starting with the Flamingos yet because we'll be talking about the inauguration of the interim management committee that has been set up by the Sports Ministry, of course. They selected it and they've been inaugurated by NFF President Ibrahim Gusso in Abuja. Of course, there's so much coming out from there. They've been given the targets to ensure that the league would be back on TV, and not just that, to ensure the issues of referees, hooliganism. So the things that the club owners complained about are the things the president have told them to ensure that they put everything in place so we'll have a better league, Austin.
Yeah, we've said it over and over again that we want, the good things for league football in Nigeria. And if you see some of the faces there, renowned sports journalist and football administrator Paul Basigbenga, Elegbele, right there on your screen, former chairman of the National Sports Commission, comes with a lot of experience also, and the newly elected president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusso. It's a rich list of individuals who are good advocates of football development in Nigeria. So we can only hope that whatever discussion that they are having, they'll put it into action, because whatever made the sports ministry and the NFF said, look, the league management company, we don't want it anymore. We need something different. We want transparency. We want proper development for our league football. Then they should be, ready to live up to that. But Cecilia, I still have my doubts, because I struggle to understand or agree that we have the environment we need for proper league football development in Nigeria. You mentioned it, that the IMC has been inaugurated today in Abuja. NFF president right there on your screen. So let's listen to chairman of the IMC, Benga Elegbele, right there at the inauguration.
Introduce for now. Administrators should start by administering very well. club owners should ensure standard best practices, good pitches, players' welfare. For instance, if you qualify for CAF Champions League or Confederation Cup, you expect the away team to come and play in your home team, your home ground, and you don't have a good facility. Is that not a minus for Nigeria as a country? That's a big minus. Again, our officiating officials should ensure that matches are won based on merit, not by awarding matches based on other mundane reasons. Our journalists, our friends, sport reporters must ensure credibility in their reporting. You must base everything on what you think is best for the system itself. And the supporters club should realize there's a difference between football fans club and gangsters. There's a difference between supporters of a football team and area boys. So attacking referees, disturbing officiating officials during matches should not be a recurrent in our system in Nigeria anymore. And again, the players themselves at least must play according to rules. It is up to us. When I say it is a problem of every one of us, and it is those of us in the system too that can solve it. So we must engage ourselves in partnership and make sure we resolve all these legal problems. And we must ensure again that our football matches are back on television. It's like you are playing the football match in your country. All matches of your leagues are not being shown on TV. It's like a beautiful lady who comes out only in the dark.
We landed, like a beautiful lady who comes out in the dark. We're not going to see the beauty. So that's a good way to, pass home the point that we need league football on television. That's where you think about, commercial benefits. That's where you expose your players, your coaches, and for the world to see your development. Cecilia, you mentioned three things that I like, and I hope that they work, towards it. So it's time to kick out hooliganism from our football. Supporters and followers of football in Nigeria must be responsible when you get out there, because they are also ambassadors of our football. He mentioned that players must play to the rules. And then he mentioned putting the league on television.
All right.
Cecilia, I just hope that they put words to action.
Obviously, I hope he will be able to do that. But then we will not be doing all the talking alone, because we have Ikena, Chikwende, who will also be talking about this. I mean, Ikena, it's been a fantastic inauguration, so to speak, because, from what we've heard from the speakers, especially the chairperson, he's talked about the fact that, look, having the league on TV, it is key. But before I get that reaction from you, let's quickly listen to NFF President Ibrahim Gusso, talking about this. The target he has given them and how they intend to achieve it once the season starts.
Is to come up with a procedure for rebranding the league with sincerity of purpose, transparency, and accountability, thereby creating an enabling environment that will ensure that the inherent benefit of it as a business outfit is fully maximized. Advise on the legal framework that will attract sponsors, opportunities from reputable corporate organizations that will make the league a sustainable and viable brand. Draw up a modalities for the commercialization of TV rights that represents the highest value of the profit and loss for the domestic league. Restart the league and draw up a calendar in line with global best practices in achieving the desired objectives, and ensure that every Premier League club has a good playing infrastructure that is TV friendly in line with CAF standards, to ensure that the league is on television for better evaluation and transparency. Furthermore, the IMC, as a matter of urgency, should draw up a checklist of tools and activities, as well as assign appropriate timelines within which they will be accomplished, with a view to having a form of professionalism in the league, to put up a legal framework and set up modalities for permanent body to run the league appropriately, review the club licensing regulation in line with the FIFA club licensing rules, while incorporating legal, administrative, and financing system, and putting in place structures that will guarantee the basic club licensing requirements, ensuring the players' welfare is adhered to strictly by the club owners, payment of players' salaries, contractual terms, and certified insurance scheme.
Insurance scheme, that is also key. Club license is not just being able to pay players, having the welfare, but then also insurance and good playing field. I mean, you heard from the chairman, Benga Elegbele, and also NFF President Ibrahim Gusu. I mean, they've said the target is a good thing, whatever they said, but then is it achievable once the season starts?
One thing about making rules and regulations and putting laws on ground is the implementation.
Okay.
If it's not implemented, then everything falls back to where we are or where it's coming from. So it's the implementation that will make it work. Making policies, saying it out, calling press conferences is the easy part. The part that comes with it is when their friends air, when the clubs they support air, how would they react? We've seen it so many times. If a club fans is a bit distance of hooliganism, what would be the consequences? Will it be implemented? We've seen in the past where suspended points were given to teams and it never came to pass. Where we saw when teams were given fines, nobody paid anything. So it's the implementation. It's not about the implementation.
Don't you think there's already a turning point because Canopilas got relegated? People were thinking, oh, there'll be boardroom points, some things may not happen, but finally it happened. If they could do that, so it simply means there's a turning point somewhere. And with this committee that has been set up, they know what is at stake. And from what Elegbele has said, it's like they're going to do everything possible to ensure that when the rules are strictly followed, because all eyes are on them.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm excited with the inauguration. I'm excited with the people on board. It's a good thing. At least the NFF board has started with the right foot. But then, still on the Nigerian factor of what we have experienced over the years is the implementation that will get me more excited. So we've seen it. They've inaugurated it. Fine. TV friendly. What are the policies? Because it's not about just having the games on TV. There are other things. We've studied how leagues all around the world have been planted. The seed have been planted and germinated. So what are we going to do aside putting the games on TV? What other things are we going to do? If they don't implement some of the things they've written down, we will go back to where we are coming from.
Okay, we hope we don't have to witness that. So we leave the league and quickly touch down on the para-athletes. Austin, we talked about these people yesterday, and then it was all about the para-athletes. After their protest, then there was also the issue of the National Sports Council saying, look, they can't be part of this. But what most of them are saying now is different because it's like they were not, as we mentioned on the show, it's like they were not carried along. They were not told that the festival that was held in April was for them. So right now, they want to have something. They want to be part of this because we keep saying that the National Sports Festival is more like, how do I put it? They're more like they are cash cow, for every year because most governors have a way of, putting so much money. Each athlete earns as much as 1 million naira if they win gold medals. But the last one, most states did not even recognize because they just have 21 states taking part. So with the complaints that we've heard from them, I mean, Austin, you will call for them later. The complaints we heard from them and most of the things happening. Where would this go from here? Should the ministry really intervene and see how they can inculcate them, or is just a blank that they will not be part of it, they will obviously not be part of it?
I think I understand the cynicism being expressed by these para-athletes. They just don't trust the system. And it's clear that's why they are protesting despite the press statements that I've seen from the ministry. The ministry, they've come out to say, look, we love para-athletes. We have supported para-athletes since Sunday Dare became minister. They assured them that, look, we started the first para-athletes National Sports Festival. We have been supporting you guys. We've been giving you guys grants, giving you guys welfare. But some of the athletes that have spoken to me, they just believe that right after they are done with the main National Sports Festival, that they will be abandoned. They just don't trust the system. So somebody needs to let them believe that they will not be abandoned, because we know the story, and it's not new. Para athletes always call for equality. They don't like the way they prepare for Paralympics. They don't even go for competition. I was in Manchester last week. The para taekwondo competition was happening. None Nigerian athlete there. Definitely funding will be the issue. So I think the ministry needs to do more. They need to speak in clear terms. They need to give these guys the assurance, because Cecilia, Ikenna, you guys know that these para athletes, they always give their best whenever they represent Nigeria. So they want to be part of the party. And the fact that they've always been part of this, they're saying, look, don't take us out of the party, you know. But they also need to understand where the ministry is coming from, that they want to give it exclusivity. They want to make it special. Don't mix it up. So the ministry said, we don't want to steal your glory with that of the main, you know, athletes. We want to celebrate you guys differently. I think the para-athletes need to understand that, you know what, let's listen to them. They've been speaking, and it's important that the ministry listen to them.
Some of us are even still thinking that, why would you remove the para-athletes, the deaf athletes, and other sports, and you are now including people from other countries to participate in National Sports Festival? Because there are about over 7 other countries coming in: Ghana, Cameroon, Benin Republic, Cote d'Ivoire, coming in. Why should people from other countries come to enjoy what we've not even enjoyed, and you are separating us and you are removing us from those sports? I think it's not the way to go. It's a bit unfair on us.
Most of the athletes depend on the festival, and most of them have not made the national team, which I believe they use this sport festival to support themselves. So removing it is very, very sad.
In April that we went for this para sports, I don't think that one is for festival, because most states did not even attend, and they didn't even declare it for us that it's festival. And even though I went to this Abuja in this April, I won 6 gold, nothing. I didn't receive anything from any state.
So you be the judge. I think they made valid points. You know, I met Kole Osho, for instance. I've been representing Nigeria in international table tennis, para table tennis competition. You saw Commonwealth gold record holder in powerlifting, Folashade Oluwafemi. If they are talking, then I think they have a point. The last athlete said, look, I competed in Abuja and I don't have anything. So this competition is one that they look forward to see how they can get 1 or 2 things. Let's go back to the point that Ahmed Kole Osho made. He said, why are we bringing foreigners into a national sports festival where we use this as a process to discover talents? Do you understand what's going on?
Yeah, I understand what he's saying. It's called National Sports Festival, and I think they have been, from what I've seen on screen now, it's unfair to them, because of the kind of points that they are putting on the table is very, very unfair. Because we know that when it comes to Paralympics, they are the ones that bring most medals. They bring a lot of medals to Nigeria, bring a lot of pride to Nigeria. So for them to be treated this way, it shouldn't have gotten to this level. They should have been, listening to, let them say their issues, and also they should be incorporated into the sports festival that is going to come up very, very soon. So I think they have a point. I think they should be listened to. I don't think they should be treated in this way. National Sports Festival is for, you can have let's say a West African meet, or Nigeria Open for athletes from other countries to come in. But you can't have you can't call in other nationals where you have not treated your own very well. So I think they have a point. I think it should be looked into. I think they should be involved from the beginning of the sports festival. Let them participate in their different states. If the states don't want to have them in their team, the Nigerian board, the Ministry of Sports can actually have a listing for them, so that they can participate and feel among the other. Because the way we treat them is really unfair, if you ask me. So I think they have a point.
Yeah, I totally agree too, Cecilia. I think they have every right to feel, being treated unfairly. Let's take the Commonwealth Games as reference point. We had para athletes And we had the main event too, and it added good color to the Commonwealth Games. I understand where the ministry is coming from, saying that, oh, do we have the Paralympics and the Olympics at the same time? But you've been doing this the way you've been doing it for a long time, just coming now to, don't fix it if it's not broken.
Let me just wrap this up. What I think the ministry was trying to do, or rather what they did, was they just want attention to be on para-athletes when their competition is going on. Because how many people really focus on them at the National Sports Festival? That's the question we need to ask ourselves, really. And then maybe the minister really needs to talk to these athletes. I mean, call them to Abuja, talk to them, let them communicate, and then we'll move forward from there.
Cecilia, the ministry, they have a point, but the para-athletes, they also have a point.
Yeah.
They are telling you that when our states take us serious is when we go to this combined competition.
Okay.
You heard that
saying,
the one we went for that was for us alone. We've not seen one.
So the states should do more, but we need to go on a break right now. The states should do more. We'll go on a break. We'll be back after this. Of course, the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup will get our attention. I think we can actually spend the whole time talking about the para-athletes, but then we're going to create another time for them, because maybe after the ministry would have met with some of these athletes, iron out everything, then we'll bring it back. So for now, we need to just chill and quickly talk about the Under-17 Women's World Cup, where the Flamingos, they are in the semi-finals. It was a tough one, but somehow they head on. They were able to, they go into penalties, and that game ended 4-3. The USA missing 2 from the spot. Nigeria missed just 1 from the spot. The game ended 1-1 at halftime. The first penalty that was given was for Nigeria. Edafe converted that so well. And of course, miraculously actually cleared that goal line that she cleared up. That also helped Nigeria not to concede in the final minutes of the game. When Miracle Husseini was able to do that, and we knew, yes, something good was coming. After our regulation time, we went straight into penalties. So Ike, now quickly, I'm going to ask you, you saw what the Flamingos did. I mean, were you one of those who felt, yeah, there's the last bus stop for them? Because usually is the quarterfinals for the Flamingos. They've never been past this stage in 14 years.
And it's USA, not any other team. So
yes.
There was that skepticism when they draws. I mean, when it was obvious they were going to meet US, but I'm really proud of them. I watched the game. I was very proud. And to show you that you're talking about the goal line clearance, what about the penalty that was retaken? Yes. I mean, it shows that something is about to happen. So big congratulations to them. The coach and the girls have done Nigeria proud. We should be proud of them. This is the first time they're going into the semi-finals, and probably we have the right to dream. You never know. This is an age group competition. And one thing about our teams going into competition is that we are always against the odds in terms of preparation, in terms of bringing the team together. Yeah. You understand? So the other teams we are facing are always more prepared than us in most competitions. But somehow, somewhere, I saw journalists from Uganda that maybe it's just saying that Nigerians are always blessed with football when it comes to football. So is that ability of us digging our results when least is expected from us? So very proud, super proud of the girls and the coach and the coaching team of what they have done. I mean, it's a good way to spend the weekend.
Good way to spend the weekend. I mean, Austin, I mean, you actually said at the beginning of the show that now we can dream. Yes, we can now dream and just see if we can lay our hands on the trophy. But then whatever happens after the semi-finals, I'm happy for the girls, really.
Let's not think about the trophy now, but let's
celebrate this victory, right?
Why not?
Yeah, celebrate this one. It's record-breaking. It's one that will go into the books and we'll reference it, but it will be good to see them go all the way. I was saying Germany don't win, but the Germans are still there, Cecilia, so... I like what I saw today. Another test of character. They scored first. We're talking about the Flamingos, and then they conceded, and then they held it till regulation time, and penalties came, and they went on to win it. It tells you that they are growing mentally, you know, and that's very important at this level. You know, they're learning good life skills, you know. I love what I see with this team, and I just hope that the systems, I was talking on Twitter Spaces the other day, and I said that the word that we've bastardized, that we've always used for our administrators is structure. We don't have structure. We need structure. I don't want to say that again because I'm thinking the more we say it, they're saying we're wasting our time. So I want to start using systems, you know, because Ikenna made a good point that someone would say, yes, it's under 17 that these players are not known, they're not established, but they're coming from good systems. They're coming from an environment where at age 4 or even 5, they are being put through the proper basics of playing football professionally, particularly here. You know, so with what we have back home and what the Flamingos have done, no, they truly deserve our salute. So good job to the Flamingos. Shout out to Coach Bankole and his team. We wish them well. I just want to let them know that we love them so much. Go do the unthinkable.
Yes. That's what they need to do. And Germany and Brazil, that game ended 2-0 in favor of the Germans. Remember how we met the Germans? That was our first game. Ended 2-1 in favor, of course, Germany. So Brazil are out. So we'll see who's going to cancel each other out between Spain and Japan tomorrow, and of course Colombia and Tanzania. But then I'm not afraid of Tanzania and Colombia. There's a team we're going to meet in the finals that I'm thinking about right now. I'm dreaming ahead, but we can actually, we can proudly say that we can dream. We can actually dream because of what the girls have done. You know, the importance of preparations, you know, Austin just talked about that. What happened with these girls was, and what the under-20 didn't have, they didn't have that time to have training camp, you know, but for the under-17, I mean, Ibrahim, they tried to correct that, and then of course they went on that 10 days training camp. Obviously, the coach may have seen some lapses, and they were, for the first time, they got used to playing a proper, or not playing against a team that is not an African team. So that may have put them in the stead. And of course, losing to Germany, he had seen the loopholes. He was able to correct that. What we're afraid of, when we were talking to the media officer yesterday, was the fact that can they really nullify this, the opposition of the USA, that they can score goals? And that was what they did today. So the coach, I think he did a fantastic job not allowing the US to get the goals. Although the pressure was there, but then they just couldn't.
It should be there. It's expected. One thing about competitions is when you play against a team like Germany in the first game, you weren't overrun. You didn't succumb to heavy score line. You lost the game 2-1. You actually did your best. It gives you a little bit of confidence. Then you go into the second game, you win. Third game, you win. Then the confidence rises. So going in, other things might be afraid playing against Nigeria right now because you didn't figure out how to play against them and how to beat them. So it's a competition. It's there for the taking. Yes, the Germans have better odds against us. They have better playing pattern. They have good organization. But then anything can happen in a competition like this. It's not a marathon league that goes on for 9 months. This is just in a few days' time. It will be over. So it's not do or die.
Take your chances.
You take your chances as it comes. Go into penalties and win the game.
Yeah, take your chances, go into penalties and win the game. That's really what is important. Then you have Saturday's fixtures that I mentioned earlier. Colombia and Tanzania will be in action. Japan and Spain will also be in action. Austin already said, whatever happens here, we should just take it, enjoy the moment, and then celebrate the fact that we've been able to break that jinx. And from there, we can move from here. So between Colombia and Tanzania, whatever happens, Tanzania, of course, at Austin, this is surprising for a team like this. They're making their debut. They are in the quarterfinals. That's already a win for this country.
Fairy tale run for the Tanzanians. And, you know, it's a clear testament that we need to do more to support women's football in Africa, you know, because, I mean, you just need to give them the support that they need. And that's why when the Confederation of African Football announced the prize money for the CAF Women's Champions, I was like, this is what I'm talking about, because we need to encourage more women to get into football in Africa. So shout out to Tanzania. They also need to believe. It would be good to see them join the Flamingos in the semi-final.
I think it's also a testament. Sorry, it's also a testament
Two
of what,
African teams in semis.
yes, of what is happening in the COSAFA. Though they're not in COSAFA, but they are always invited to play. So we are, people are not noticing what is happening in that COSAFA region. Zambia, South Africa, and Mozambique. So they are improving.
Zimbabwe, all of
exactly, they are improving as the year goes by. So it's not surprising seeing them at this stage of the competition. Before they'll be taking 8-0, 9-0 and going home. But now look at where they are. It's a good testament of what is happening in that part of the continent.
All right, sticking with women's football, now we'll go to New Zealand, where they are preparing for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. That's at the senior level. Remember, Super Falcons, they've qualified for this tournament. Of course, New Zealand are preparing. They're happy that, hey, it's getting closer. And of course, so they had the traditional Maori welcome ceremony earlier today. And that Maori ceremony had most athletes attending it. But this is some of the things you're going to see when you go to New Zealand next year. So they're telling everyone, the visitors, the fans that want to come down to their country, they'll have a whole lot of culture to see, the tradition that usually they have before a tournament will start. And that's the FIFA president right there, Gianni Infantino, trying to understand what are they doing. This is part of it. This is the culture. This is the tradition. This is what they want to show to the world, that yes, everyone is welcome. But before that, they're trying to tell everybody this is how we receive a people. Is a Maori traditional
during the Rugby World Cup, I always look out for All Blacks when they do that haka before they start the game. It's amazing.
Yeah. You had stars from all over the world, especially former players. Perpetual Culture happens, so she will be part of the draw ceremony tomorrow. Callie Lloyd, of course, the most capped player in the US, she's also there. So many stars, that went for the championship. I mean, Austin, I mean, when you see this, you know that, yes, it's getting closer. It's July next year. We just can't wait for it to happen.
Celia, it's the year of the women.
Of course,
I respect Nigerian women. Let me say to all of them, thank you so much for taking shame out of our face.
Yes.
From the Commonwealth Games, it's the women. The Falconets went to the Under-20 World Cup. The Flamingos doing so well now in India. We're getting ready for the Super Falcons. So the women have given Nigeria so much, fantastic representation. Let's even go in. Toby Amuso and our exploits. They say, bro, we can go on and on and on. So Cecilia, help us tell your women that we're proud of them, love them, we appreciate them. It will be good to see the Super Falcons do something special at the World Cup. But let's not lose this moment. From what we've seen with the Flamingos, let's find a way to do long-term planning, incorporate things into the Falconets, and we've seen some players from the Falconets already featuring in the Super Falcons. That's good transition. Let's keep that process going. Ikenna, join me to say thank you to the women.
They have done a lot. They keep pushing the envelope. They have done so much for us, and the reason we are celebrating today. The reason maybe come in July, and we have like 6-7 months to plan. I believe that Super Falcons will do us proud in New Zealand and Australia.
I hope they'll do that, and I hope that all the allowances and everything they'll be owing the Super Falcons will be paid by them, because just earlier today, when the 3-man committee that was inaugurated for the underage competition. I mean, one of them actually, I think one of them said they're promising the under-23 Eagles $20,000 if they beat the Tanzania this weekend. I'm like, okay, you haven't even paid allowances for the girls. I mean, you have, okay, so we'll leave that. It's going to be a story for another. I don't want to go there. It's going to be a story for another. But
they must pay the women. I stand with the women, because we
don't
cannot afford
care, Austin. It's like they don't care.
No, so hey, let's put this. Let's set the record straight. Ministry of Youth and Sports, NFF, please listen up. Take care of our women. They have done so well for the country. Whatever we're doing for the men, let's do double for the women, because they have shown that when we're crying, they can give us a shoulder to lean on. Because of the women now, some of us are not feeling so bad that Nigeria will not be at the World Cup in Qatar, because we featured in all the Women's World Cup. So what else do you want from them? And I'm sure when the draws are done, the Super Falcons will get a good draw. But how do you prepare them for the competition when we're hearing that you're not paying them? We shouldn't hear that.
All right, let's listen to Kali Lloyd, talking ahead of the FIFA. Okay, yeah, do we have Kali Lloyd? Yes, we need to listen to her talking about Team USA. She won it back to back, but can they have a tripit?
There are a lot of rivals. The world has caught up. I think for so many years, the U.S., we've been a little ahead of the game. We've had the support, we've had the investment. And now you're seeing the support and investment happening all across the globe, which is what you want. In order for the U.S. to continue to be great, they need others to continue to push them. So I think that, this is going to be not only the biggest and best World Cup that's ever happened on the women's side, it's also going to be the hardest.
USA, you will be facing the tough team. I'm happy that they have younger players right now. Most of them are retired, except Alex Morgan. She's still there, yeah. So watch it for her. Okay, we'll leave in that and quickly touch on our countdown to the World Cup. It's 29 days to the World Cup. Of course, today we'll be looking at Group H. Group H, you have big teams. When you mean big teams, there's 29 days to go. Well, it's coming down. I mean, the clock is ticking, and these are the teams that are in Group H. Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and Korea Republic. For Korea, yes, you just hear me song. After him, you there, who else? But then for Portugal, you know them. I mean, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, there's so many. I mean, that's a star-studded squad. For you, we're looking at this Group H. Which of these, we'll start with Portugal quickly. Portugal, yes, a big team. Cristiano Ronaldo, this may just be his last World Cup. But then, is this a team that can, pull off something at this World Cup? Because all eyes will be on Ronaldo. This may just be the last time.
It will be the last time.
It will be the last time. He's 37 already. The next one, he'll be 41.
Yeah. He's done. This is the last one. This is the last.
So you have Bruno Fernandes, you have João Cancelo, you have big players in this team. Can they pull off something? Judging from the fact that in qualification, it was North Macedonia they had to beat in the playoffs for them to get into the World Cup.
I think the over-reliance on Ronaldo might hurt them a bit.
Okay.
Going far, but they will of course get through this group stage. That's not in doubt. They have a very good squad. The reason is putting pressure on the 37-year-old Ronaldo. Thinking that he will still recreate the magic he did 7 years ago, 6 years ago. But as for this group H, they will skate through. Now their real task will start from the knockout stages.
All right. Ghana is next, Austin. Ghana, they stopped Nigeria from getting into it. Thomas Partey and his brothers, Jordan Ayew, they will all be at the World Cup. Are they going to be a surprise team? Remember what happened in South Africa 2010? Uruguay was the team that actually took them out. Luis Suarez, the handball and everything. That same Uruguay is also in the group.
Yeah, that's the fixture most football fans, want to see, because unfinished business in that one. And the draw can be so funny. How did they bring Uruguay and Ghana together again, So we'll wait to see. I said it right after Ghana stopped Nigeria from qualifying that if I go to the World Cup, I'll put an eye on Ghana, for obvious reasons. They stopped the Super Eagles, from qualifying. And I think that Chris Hughton and the technical crew, they are trying to, do something special with this Ghanaian team, And when you look at the Group H, Cecilia, Kenya, anything can happen. That is a group where anything can happen. Don't even take out Korea Republic because the World Cup comes with a different feel. Yeah, don't take them off. Don't do that. Uruguay is also a World Cup, is a traditional World Cup team. They understand the competition so well. So anything can happen. And I still stick with my analysis. It takes just one bad draw. One bad draw and everything is open in a group. It might just be your opening match and you play draw and it will inspire the next set of teams that are playing. And then before you know, the permutations will start. So it's a very tricky group. Portugal, they've not been at their best. You just talked about how they had to qualify through the playoff. And Cristiano Ronaldo is not getting younger. But the World Cup, as I said, brings a different feeling. You might get to Qatar and then we'll see the beast in him again because when he wears the Portugal jersey, he's a different player. Korea Republic on their own, they have their own style. They have their flair. Yeah. There's something about Korea when you watch them at the World Cup, they can just upset you, Go ask Nigeria at the World Cup in 2010, So it happens. With Ghana, we can only wish them all the best. I know that they've got players here and there, but the blend, how to make use of them, is probably what the technical crew needs to understand. But Cecilia, at the World Cup, you never say never, particularly in this type of group where it's difficult to just come out and say Portugal will qualify. You can't do that. It's difficult to say Uruguay will qualify ahead of Ghana or Korea Republic. So football will give us the two teams that will come out of Group H.
And of course, the Ghanaians are, I mean, the Ghanaian fans that are in Qatar, they are already in celebrating mood. They are in that World Cup spirit. I mean, dancing and singing, just ensuring that their tradition, everyone is saying, yes, we are here. I mean, when we see pictures like this, you're like, okay, you know what? The fans are talking about semi-finals. I'm like, okay, semi-finals. I mean, that's a dream. You can actually dream and see if you can achieve it. Let's take a listen to the fans, you know, what they want to achieve in Qatar.
We just want to announce the presence of the Ghanaian team. You know, it's just like few days to the World Cup, but we are not getting the atmosphere. This is the atmosphere, so we're just trying to create awareness.
We are already getting prepared for this World Cup. We want everybody to know Ghana is already here, and Ghana is making to the next stage, to the semi-final.
Yeah, it's always good to dream. Just dream and enjoy the moment and see what you can get from there. So we're still counting down to the World Cup. We'll see what it's going to bring.
They were a penalty away and the handball away from playing the semi-final the last time. So maybe
they can get it this time around, right? We hope they can actually get there. Before we leave the show, quickly wrap up the English Premier League. Some games that will be decided this weekend. And we know the headline is the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo will not be playing when Manchester United and Chelsea lock horns at Stamford Bridge. Other games, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, Everton, Crystal Palace, Man City, Brighton. These are the games for Saturday. Let's quickly flip over to games for Sunday. Aston Villa, that sacked Steven Gerrard, will be up against Brentford, Leeds and Fulham, Southampton and Arsenal, Wolves and Leicester City, Tottenham and Newcastle. Tottenham, Newcastle, that's going to be tough. Austin, which of them going to talk in just 1 minute, then we wrap this up.
Some tricky fixtures in there, you know. Manchester City, Brighton. You know what Brighton can do, Cecilia, when they see and play against these big teams. There's also Southampton and Arsenal, the Gunners in fine form, but they don't used to have it so good with Southampton, so I'm waiting to see. I'm sure everyone knows that Chelsea, Manchester United is a big fixture, but when you talk about Manchester City and Arsenal, people are just waiting to see them fall. So I'm looking forward to see the show of character in that one by both teams.
Character. Quickly, your thoughts?
Well, we will see the Chelsea, Manchester United.
Okay, obviously.
Manchester United, that's a tough game. But Arsenal will still be on top at the end of this weekend.
It simply means they're winning. You know, I think if we have them quickly just listen to Ten Hag talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, his latest development from Old Trafford.
I'm responsible for the top sport culture here, and I have to set standards and values, and I have to control them. And we are in a team. And in team we have standards, we have values, and I have to control it. And so after Rayo Vallecano, I thought it's unacceptable, but he wasn't the only one, but that is for everyone. So when it's the second time, that will have consequences. That is now what we did, and so we miss him tomorrow, and that is a miss for us, for the squad. It's a miss. But I think it's important for the attitude, for the mentality from the group. We'll have a reflection for him, but I think it's also for everyone else. I set a warning in the start of the season, and then when the next time it has to be consequence. Otherwise, when you are living together, when you playing together, and football is a team sport. And so you have to fulfill certain standards. and I have to control it.
For Ronaldo saga, I mean, everyone has been talking about this, the fact that he didn't really respect the club, but he has actually apologized. Did he really apologize? Yeah, more like it, because he said he still stands for the team, so it seems to be he really still wants to be with the club. Yeah, even when people are saying that he might just leave in January.
Yeah, he wanted to leave in during the transfer window.
Yeah,
they asked him to stay. They begged him to stay. And he stayed, and he's being disrespected. If he asked
did they beg him to stay? Or he didn't get a club that was willing to get him.
There were 5 clubs that were.
What are the clubs? How much are they willing to pay? Were they Champions League clubs?
Yeah, they were Champions League clubs.
Clubs like. That's the thing. There was no concrete. There was no concrete money on the table. There was no concrete offer.
There were offers on the table.
From which club?
But then
confirmed offers from which clubs?
Confirmed offers. I think one was I think PSG. Also, I had.
Yeah, that wasn't confirmed. That's rumor.
Then Bayern too. Then Bayern too.
Bayern came out to say that it doesn't fit into their system.
But the thing is that from his agent, they said they had 5.
Yeah, he was the one saying it. What I'm saying is, did United get a concrete offer for Ronaldo?
They didn't even listen to anybody. They didn't even.
If you bring the money and it's right, why wouldn't you let him go?
They didn't want to lose him. They didn't want to lose him. That is the thing. For marketability, for his commercial values, they didn't want to lose him, and for the name. But now that he's in, and you promise, and of course there will be a meeting between the two parties. He must have been promised of playing game time, having more game time. But then again, we don't want to play him. So I think he has every right. Though I'm not supportive of his action. It's uncalled for. It's sportsmanlike. But then again, what he has brought to the team, what he has done for the team, he should be respected.
Okay. You think he was disrespected? Austin, let's just wrap this up on the United and Ronaldo. I mean, we've talked about the fact that the players are not bigger than the club, no matter what it is. If you don't perform in a game before the next game, of course, obviously, it will start from the bench, even if you're Lionel Messi or Diego Maradona.
I don't know if you read that literature in school, The Animal Farm, where they said all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than the other. Just taking a quote from the book. It's Cristiano Ronaldo, and so we expect so much from him. I was a bit disappointed, at first, when I heard the press statement from Manchester United saying he refused to come on as a substitute. No, that's so wrong. That's even to an extent you being a sabotage to the team, because you're a role model, you're a big player. But I also, in a way, understand where Kenna is coming from, saying he was disrespected, because I said it to you yesterday, Cecilia, we don't know the agreement that they had with this star player. Cristiano Ronaldo isn't the sort of thing that will just come to your club. He will come with his terms and conditions, and you agree, because he's not just coming to play football for you. Okay. He's doing so much, beyond football. So we'll see. I'm hearing that Saudi Arabia, the United States of America, they're trying to give him an escape contract so he can, get out of Manchester United. So we'll monitor the situation. I think we got to go now, yes. Cecilia. I must say thank you so much to our viewers that join us from different parts of the world. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, Kenna, thank you so much for being part of the show tonight.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Good night.